The air was heavy with the scent of gasoline and dust as the late afternoon sun sank lower over the small town's main street. People hurried past the row of shops, some heading home after a long day of work, others stopping by the bakery or the little grocery store. Life here was slow, predictable, until the roar of motorcycle engines shattered the calm. 5 bikers, leather-clad and loud, stormed into town as if they owned it. Their engines growled like wild beasts, their laughter was sharp and unsettling. The townsfolk lowered their eyes, quickly stepping aside. Everyone knew this gang, they came and went as they pleased, leaving fear in their wake. But no one expected what would happen next. Among the quiet crowd was a woman named Maria. She looked simple, hair tied in a messy bun, plain clothes, no makeup, just a canvas tote bag hanging from her shoulder. She was the kind of woman people often overlooked. A widow in her early 40s, she worked in the library and spent most of her time caring for her teenage daughter. No one knew much about her past, and she liked it that way. As the bikers parked their machines with a screech, they spotted Maria walking toward the store. One of them, tall and cocky, smirked and called out, "Hey, lady! Where do you think you're going?" She ignored them, clutching her bag tighter, hoping they'd lose interest. But trouble rarely lets go that easily. The men surrounded her, their shadows falling over her. "Don't be shy," another sneered, "we just want to have some fun. What's a simple woman like you doing out here alone?" The crowd stopped. Whispers spread. Some people wanted to step in, but fear froze them. 5 bikers against 1 woman? It was impossible. Or so they thought. Maria raised her eyes slowly. Calm, steady, unafraid. There was no anger in her gaze, no fear, just quiet strength. "I'm warning you," she said softly. "Step aside." Her voice, though gentle, carried weight. The bikers burst into laughter. "Or what?" one jeered, leaning in closer. And then it happened. In a blur faster than anyone could register, Maria's hand shot forward, striking the first man in the chest. He flew backward, collapsing on the dusty street. The crowd gasped. Another biker lunged, but Maria twisted, catching his arm and flipping him effortlessly onto the ground. Within seconds, she had moved like lightning, each motion precise, controlled, and devastating. 5 bikers had come to intimidate her. 5 bikers now lay groaning on the ground. Silence hung over the street. People stared, mouths open, eyes wide. Who was this woman they had dismissed as ordinary? Maria's secret. What no one knew, what Maria had kept buried for years, was her past. Long before she was a librarian, she had been one of the most respected martial arts instructors in the military. She had trained soldiers in hand-to-hand combat, discipline, and survival. Her late husband had served too, but after his death in an accident, Maria chose a quiet life for the sake of her daughter. She had promised herself never to fight again unless there was no other choice. And today, those bikers had given her no choice. But Maria didn't gloat. She didn't look proud of her victory. Instead, she stood tall and told the bikers, "Strength isn't for bullying. It's for protecting. Learn the difference." The crowd erupted into applause. For years, the town had lived in fear of the bikers, but now a simple woman had shown them that courage didn't come from muscle or noise. Courage came from within. Challenges she faced. But life didn't get easier after that day. The bikers nursed their humiliation, and revenge burned in their eyes. They returned days later, angrier, this time with more men. Maria knew that standing against them again would put her daughter in danger. Fear clawed at her heart, not for herself, but for the one person she loved more than life. Her challenge wasn't only physical. It was emotional. Could she protect her child without letting violence consume her again? Could she teach her daughter that strength was more than fighting? Maria prayed for wisdom. She reached out to the townsfolk, encouraging them to stand together. For too long, they had been silent. "They come here because we let them," she told her neighbors. "One person can fight, yes. But if all of us stand together, they will never return." At first, people were hesitant. They had lived in fear too long. But Maria's courage sparked something in them. The shopkeeper who had once bowed his head now raised it. The young mechanic decided he wouldn't hide anymore. The town began to find its voice. When the bikers returned, expecting fear, they were met with unity. The people stood together, dozens of them, men, women, even children, refusing to be bullied anymore. Maria was at the front, calm and resolute. The bikers realized the truth: they had no power over a community that refused to be broken. Resolution. Defeated not only by Maria's fists but by the spirit she had awakened in the town, the bikers left for good. From that day on, Maria wasn't just the simple woman. She was the reminder that true strength isn't about violence, it's about protecting what matters, about standing up when it's easier to stay silent, and about inspiring others to find their courage too. Her daughter, watching everything, hugged her tightly that night. "Mom," she whispered, "you're my hero." Maria smiled through her tears. "No, sweetheart. Heroes are the ones who choose kindness even when it's hard. Promise me you'll always be kind." And her daughter nodded. Final message. This story isn't just about bikers or fights. It's about the battles we face every day, against fear, against injustice, against the temptation to stay silent. And it's about the power hidden within the most ordinary-looking people. Sometimes, the strongest warriors are the ones you'd least expect. Call to action for your channel. If this story touched your heart, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What would you have done if you were in Maria's place? Do you believe ordinary people can spark extraordinary change? Share your feelings in the comments below. And don't forget, your support means the world to me. Subscribe to my channel, Be Kind Always, for more powerful, emotional, and inspiring stories that remind us of the strength of kindness and courage. Remember, true power is not in hurting, but in protecting. True strength is not in fear, but in love. Be kind always. Red Heart.